Welcome, everybody. It's your girl, Delores, just the pink girl in my pink world, here on every social platform with my good brother, J News. J News, you got something to tell the people?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gents. We are here live. It's the Hit Throws podcast, cueing you in on what was the week in pro wrestling. Busy Saturday, as a matter of fact, for those of us who watch all types of wrestling and stuff like that. But we have a rundown of what happened for the entire week, so we should get the party started.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let us head over to the Hit the Rope Studios podcast. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. You already know. Wait a minute, J News. I don't see us. Hold on. I don't see us. There we go. It's time. It's time. You all know what time it is. It's time for what? Review. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a review. We're going to start out with WWE. They had many shows, many things that have happened this week. We start off Monday Night Raw, 17:05 on the 26th on Netflix, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Slim Jim Longfoot. Hold on, let me put me and J News up there. I appreciate you. Thank you. Back to the back we go. We had Rio, which is Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, along with Stephanie Vaquer, defeat the Judgment Day of Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Roxanne Perez. We had Austin Theory defeat Rey Mysterio. We had for the WWE World Tag Team Title #1 contendership 4-way match, Alpha Academy of Kara Tozawa and Otis defeat American Made of Brutus Creed and Julius Creed, Los Americanos, which is Bravo Americano, and Rayo Americano, and the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. And last but not least, the last match on Monday Night Raw for AJ Styles was CM Punk, the champion, defeating AJ Styles by DQ. What did you have to think about this, J.D.?
I thought that the Alpha Academy winning the tag team #1 contendership was a breath of fresh air, because they finally got those gentlemen a tag team title shot in there. For the most part, I feel like most fans in the WWE universe have felt kind of, I don't know. I think folks feel like the tag team division isn't really cared about too much. So with the team of Tozawa and Otis actually winning this #1 contendership, maybe it's a sign of more things to come with the tag team division, more development and things of that nature, outside of what's been going on with the New Day and Los Americanos and things of that nature. American Made has spent a lot of time of the latter part of the year 2025 off of TV, and so did Alpha Academy. So to see them participate on Raw was a breath of fresh air, and then secondarily, it was cool to see a new team in that contendership for the tag team titles. Outside of that, not really much of anything really caught me on Monday Night Raw, be it that it was the go home episode of Raw towards the Royal Rumble. It was cool to see CM Punk have a match against AJ Styles, even though they're at their respective ages and things of that nature. But it was a match for the fans, and it ended via DQ. I believe Walter got involved. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Or who's Punk feuding with? No, Finn Balor. Finn Balor came in.
Finn Balor came and got in it. It was also weird to see. It seems like every time we get a little bit of Finn is not going to be with the Judgment Day anymore. They snatch it back. And now it seems like when you think about when we talk about what happened at the Royal Rumble, Liv standing there when he's like, you don't understand, this is complicated. Like almost like I gotta take care of myself. That awoken something in her that was like, I'm gonna take care of myself. And that's exactly what she did. So I kind of didn't see that for even though it was like foreshadowing because after he walked away, they just zoomed in on her standing there and kind of like thinking about something. And it was like, I would have never thought that that would have been the thing that they were thinking about. Also, I'm a little teed off, and we'll talk about when we get to the pay per view. But I did not see Jade whatsoever, even though she was advertised to be there. And then she had this like cryptic post the day, like the day of the Rumble, where it made it clear that she was not going to be there, and I was a little ticked off. So I'm like, yeah, I could have used her sometime during the week. I don't know what's going on with WWE. I know I wasn't happy with any of the shows this week other than AAA. That was it. Um, CM Punk and this feud he got going on with, he seemed like he's feuding with everybody and their mama. And you can't pick which person hates him the most. So, being that Finn came out and interrupted the match, it was like, oh, guaranteed Finn is going to be his opponent, maybe at, you know, Mania or something like that. But no, if you watch the pay per view, he had some words with uh, Drew McIntyre. He's had some words with Gunther. He's had words. So it's like, I need them to pick. If we're on the road to WrestleMania and we got one more pay per view in between, I need you all to stick to the program and let us figure out a storyline that we can stick to. Because right now, it's a hot mess express of jumping up stuff going on. And then the tag teams are the last people on the list because they really don't have no consistent storyline. What did Jay Uso helping Akira and Otis win? What is that gonna do for me long term? Unless they win the championships, I don't care anything about them possibly, like getting into a feud with them. Because all I see is Akira and Otis, and they normally lose. And that's crappy when you think about it. That I thought maybe none of them really had any true hopes with me of like winning and me thinking that they were gonna really win. So I just need WWE to do a lot better. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the back. We're gonna go on to the next show, which was NXT. NXT was episode 1380 on the 30th on USA Network. We have for the WWE United States title match, Carmelo Hayes defeating Ray Phoenix. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair defeated the Judgment Day of Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Axiom defeated Johnny Gargano. What is this? This is Friday Night SmackDown. I'm sorry. Episode 822. Uh, WWE NXT Tag Team Title Match: Dark Slate, Osiris Griffin, and Shaquan Sugars defeated OTM of Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. Jada Parker defeated Nikita Lyons for the WWE NXT Title Qualifying Match. Dion Lennox defeated Miles Bourne. We had Alexis King defeating Tavion Heights. Thea Hale defeated Zarya. And for the WWE NXT Title Qualifying Match, Keanu Carver, I pronounce his name weird every time I do. Carver defeated Andre Chase. Jadu, did you watch any of this show?
Yeah, so a lot of what I saw from NXT was highlights and bits. It was good to see Jada Parker back in the ring. It was interesting that they chose Nikita Lyons to be her opponent in this match, being that they've spent a lot of time. Um, how do I put this? They spent they have spent they as in the WWE have spent a lot of time rehabbing Nikita Lyons, both physically and character wise, on their other shows outside of NXT, be it Evolve and things of that nature, and just through short video vignettes to bring her back versus Jada. I thought was an interesting choice. They both looked solid in the ring, so I got to give them that. And Jada still, uh, she's now, in my eyes, she's probably going to be the main girl on NXT outside of Blake Monroe, because it seems like they'll be calling up JC Jane soon enough. With her performance at the Rumble and things of that nature, we'll get to
I
that.
hope
When we
they
get to
don't.
that.
I really
Uh,
hope they
but you know that she's been there long enough, I think, and they'll probably end up calling her up. So that was the main match that I took away from this week's episode of NXT. The men's division stuff is still not hitting for me. Dion Lennox defeating Miles Bourne, even from a planning and storytelling perspective, the match itself, Miles Bourne losing, didn't make much sense to me. But hey, whatever. It's NXT. Lexis King defeated Tavion Heights. You know what, man? I, I ain't got anything really nice to say about Lexis King. And I feel like Tavion Heights is in the wrong company. That's all. That's all I have to say about that. Uh,
Well, I would say, was it? I think this episode came out after. I think his dad's Brian Pillman's and uh, I think he trained Lexus a little bit. Mentor and trainer passed away,
yes,
so Lexus has been losing. So maybe this was like a little because the speech. I think wasn't this the episode where he had the speech where he talked about something like his dad would be proud of him or something like that.
I have no idea.
And so I think this was the episode. Either the interview before, because I remember he had an interview somewhere, or it was in the episode where he said his dad would be proud of him, and kind of gave a little nod and a wink to the mentor. So I think that this was their opportunity to kind of.
The WWE, I think, has they failed him. They have failed him so far. That's my personal opinion. And like I said,
I
Tavion.
think also he's not the Brian Pillman in AEW, the wild child, was literally a wild child, and he admits that he was um doing allegedly doing things and substances and different things that was aiding and abetting this character. He comes to WWE a sober and whole complete human, and he doesn't know himself anymore. And so WWE is like, we don't know what to do with you. You don't know what to do with you. Nobody knows what to do with you at this point because he tried to initially be the wild child, but he can't put his whole heart into it because he doesn't want to go back to the place he came from. So then it's like, okay, well you Lexus King, but now what is Lexus King? Who is he? What does he do? What makes this character so special? And he doesn't know that. He's been his whole wrestling career this wild child. And now he's not there. I don't think even he knows what this character is. It's
Yeah,
like the look is unique, but again, it's not special. Uh the promos are bad. The matches he's having with these people are he's getting low level talent to have fights with him most of the time, and he's barely getting by the win, or even if he's facing higher level talent, he's losing to them. He's a jobber, so he's gonna have to figure that out because I think I hate to say because I never want a talent from a father son perspective to be even with Charlotte. I don't like that either. Taking your dad's persona, but I think that is a comfortability where WWE knows how to write that character and he knows how to be that character. I think that might work for him in the future if they turn him into Brian Pillman Jr. If they just make him that way.
yeah. I'm not. I'm gonna disagree with you there. The kid needs to figure his life out. He needs to figure himself out. And then once he does that, he can come back to TV. He just doesn't know at the end of the day. And it's okay at the end of the day not to know. It's not a knock. Some people grow, evolve, and become better versions of themselves as they get much older in life. He's in his 30s, so he's got to figure something out at the end of the day. But from a wrestling perspective, um,
I
the
think that's the problem. He's figured his life out from interviews I've seen.
Mhm.
He's no longer into these substances and these things. He's cleared himself up. He's
Yeah,
got something.
but
But
besides that, from a wrestling, like I said, from a wrestling perspective, he hasn't
yeah,
figured anything else. He hasn't figured anything out at the end of the day.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
on AEW TV and not on NXT. He hasn't figured anything out.
yeah,
So he needs to do something with that. And the comment I made about Tavion Heights being in the wrong company, he just is. I feel like
yeah,
Tavion Heights would be like a great addition to any Japanese wrestling promotion that would want to take him, because he's that type of wrestler at the end of the day. Um, and just get more reps under him and have a different and experience a different take on what pro wrestling is. And he'd be more successful outside of the WWE walls. That's my personal opinion, just based on everything I've seen from him the last 2 to 3 years or so.
yeah.
Uh,
We did the excursion and stuff. He did really good.
yeah, so that's that there. Thea Hale versus Zarya, that was really more used as that match was really more or less used as a vehicle to present Zarya in a certain way. It seems to be that her attitude and her personality is shifting. Zarya getting more, let's say, meaner, more violent, and things of that nature, because
Yeah.
she's hungry for gold. So I thought that was a good look for her in that particular sense there. And then the new money guy, it seems, from the men's division, Keanu Carver, beating Andre Chase. I understand he's got a good look. I understand he's got good intensity, and all that. And I get that from an old school wrestling perspective. That's cool and all, but the young man needs a lot of work. And that's what NXT is for. So let's see as to how they continue to develop young Mr. Carver in the coming weeks, months, and years on WWE TV.
Also, I don't know if you saw the interview that Thea had. I forgot who with who. Could have been Little Greca them. I don't forgot who it was. But they did her mighty dirty with that belt. She literally, J-Deuce, won the belt. She said she went home to show her parents, show that, all this hard work pays off, and that, like, them investing into her was a great thing. She goes home, she takes the belt to them, only to come back and lose it. I felt so, like, she tried to keep her calm, but you could see it was very upsetting to her. And I felt in that moment, like, beforehand, J-Deuce, I was like, I don't care, you lost the belt. But when I heard her story and how much, like, it seemed like she was emotionally into it, it was like, y'all screwed that girl really bad. Y'all couldn't let her have it for like 2-3 weeks. Y'all couldn't do that. Y'all had to take it away from her like that. And even she kind of like got a little broken up about it. And I was like, you know what? That's wrong. She should win it back and be able to hold it for a little bit longer. It kind of reminded me of when she told the story, J News, you know what it reminded me of? When the moment, if you go back and look at the watch along, when CM Punk won the title and how ecstatic I was. And 2 seconds later, it was dashed and somebody had just took that fire and throw water on it. I was sad. I was sad for him. I was sad for me. I was sad for everybody, because I was like, this does not make any sense. That's how I felt for her after hearing her story. It's like her parents if she hadn't went home, like if she said she hiked up to go home, her parents would have never seen the belt in real life, and she would have been just a dash of a dream.
Yeah, I feel like the truth of the matter is, as much as it was reported. Sorry, guys. that her win of the United States Women's Championship was a mistake. I would have thought that WWE would have made the decision to put it back on Blake Monroe, but they didn't do that. They made her lose the championship. I forget if it was a one-on-one versus Izzy Dame or if it was a multi-person match versus that Izzy Dame was
I think it was a one
involved
on
in.
one. I'm not for
Right.
sure.
Sure. Okay. Let's for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna take your memory on this, Dolores. It was a one-on-one. The shift of that women's North American title to Izzy Dame has not been any better. I think the better story, and I agree with you, Dolores, would have been to keep that championship on Thea Hale for a few weeks, re reassess and continue to rebuild that or build on a feud between Thea and Blake Monroe, and then have Blake take the title back a few weeks later. I think that would have probably been better than what we're getting now. And yeah, now where we're at, and Thea's back at the bottom of the barrel in NXT amongst the women, and you know, I feel for her because she's been there for a while, and she's been trying to find her footing as a singles act and things of that nature, and she's still very young. She hasn't found solid ground to stand on. So we'll see as to how it all continues to work out for her. But as of right now, I agree with you, Dolores. I think that the booking and the matchmaking has not helped her in recent weeks and months over on NXT. You're muted, Dolores.
I said I feel like that's why I'm like, oh, why? And the more you get to see them do interviews and get to know them as people, the more you're like. Whereas I was detached and really didn't care, I began to care and be like, man, why would you screw her like this? Like she literally comes back just to lose. Like this is what you did. And for me, she didn't say it, but for her to immediately win the championship and then her next decision is to A, she does a lot of videos with the belt, and then B, takes the belt home for her mom to see. I'm assuming she knew that she was going to lose the belt as soon as she got it, but that's sucky. Especially to know you're gonna, even with CM Punk, I think about that. It's got to be sucky to know you're gonna win just to lose. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going back to the back with J News. Back again. And we're going to go on to the next show, which is SmackDown. I already started telling y'all about SmackDown. SmackDown was episode 1380 on the 30th on USA Network. We have the WWE United States title match where Carmelo Hayes defeated Rey Fenix. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair defeated the Judgment Day of Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Axiom defeated Johnny Gargano. Ilya Dragunov defeated The Miz. And we had Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Randy Orton, Sami Zayn versus the Vision of Austin Theory, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul ending the no contest. J News, did you see any of this, and what did you think about it?
Actually, this week's episode of SmackDown I completely missed because it was earlier in the day and I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't really catch the highlights of it either because the highlights, and this is more of a scheduling thing, the highlights don't come on until prime time. So they don't start putting the videos on YouTube until after 8 p.m. So there was a large gap between when the show actually happened and the highlights actually going up on YouTube and on social media. So that's my take on that. But from the list breakdown here, Carmelo Hayes had a match against Rey Fenix. I would figure that match was a banger. Rey Fenix is still eating pins. Great for him. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, they defeated the Judgment Day, going into the Royal Rumble of Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Raquel Rodriguez was at ringside. I'm sure she got involved at some point in time there and here. I did see a video clip of the Axiom versus Johnny Gargano match where Axiom at some point during the end of the match, he got his mask taken off by Johnny Gargano, but Axiom had the replacement mask that Johnny had been walking around with. in recent weeks, and he didn't get his face revealed, that obviously, so he used that mask and quickly got a roll up pin on Johnny Gargano. Yeah, I'm the only guy who's still holding this, it seems, on the internet, but I'll continue to hold it. I can give a shit less about any Miz matches. Ilya Dragunov's the man. I'm glad he beat the Miz, and
the Miz deserves every ass whooping he gets. I was still trying not to say it, but he deserves it because he's just arrogant. I mean,
that's the character at the end of the day.
No, that's not just the character. If you watch, we've been watching Miz since what, the Real World. Yeah, he's been like this. This ain't new. That superstardom didn't cause this. He been like this. Also, if you watch that fake reality show or hear him talk about certain things, it's a-holish. It comes off as I'm the man, and so that kind of breeded the character. The man breeded the character. Like, most people don't know, Randy is allegedly a little thrown off. Okay. So that's why this, I hear voices in my head. They talk to me. The crazy character is the character that he has. Okay. Because if you remember, they tried to make Randy the pretty boy. And when he first came out. So that's the character kind of precedes itself. Also,
I just wanted to say that Ilya Dragunov, I consider him to be one of the WWE's better talents. So for him to continue to get TV time is great. I just feel like and this is for folks who watch multiple wrestling companies and stuff like that. The Miz is the equivalent of Chris Jericho on AEW TV. He is a vortex onto himself.
The crazy is we're gonna probably have Chris Jericho come, if he does come to the WWE again, against the Miz, and it's gonna make me just sick.
It's great that he's a safe performer. It's great that they can count on him to do promo work and media work and everything else in between. But having him involved in matches with guys who have certain styles of matches, a la Carmelo Hayes or Ilya Dragunov, the matches just don't hit as well as they would. And yeah, he's got his place in the company, and that's all it is. But I've just never been a fan. And for the last match, it was put together as a multi-man match to end the show with a big brawl and things of that nature going into the Royal Rumble and all that jazz.
Did my boy Jay News just click out?
That was really more or less the go home show for the Royal Rumble, because it was Friday and then the Rumble was on Saturday. So it just ended in a brawl, which is what I kind of figured that would happen.
Now, if you had told me before the Royal Rumble, which we'll talk about in a minute, you had two bad shows, my response would have been Royal Rumble about to be fired. Okay, because normally they have trash go home shows, but the show be great. And if they have a good go home show, or out of one of the two shows, the pay-per-view is gonna be trash. Okay, so I was like, I'm looking forward to this Royal Rumble, and I did watch along for it. And if you go back, the pain and suffering went from oh no to like, why, Jesus, why? And by the end of it, okay. So I'm gonna go in the back, and we're gonna talk about the show we introduced to you all last week. I'm definitely gonna need Jay News' help with this every week. AAA, Lucha Libre Worldwide. They have a show now that comes on every week on Fox and in Mexico. AAA on Fox. This is episode number 3 on the 31st, which was yesterday. Ria de Reyes, Jay News.
Rey de Reyes 2026 qualifying 4-way match. It was La Parca defeating Aerostar, Apollo Crews, and Jack Cartwheel. Is that where Apollo is now? AAA? Mm-hmm. Oh boy. AAA World Cruiserweight title number 1 contendership 3-way match. TJP.
Yes.
Say word. Okay. I'm learning as I'm reading, folks. That's why you're getting the reactions that you're getting from me right now. TJP defeated Elio Lafleur and Jack Cartwheel. Jack Cartwheel being in two different matches on the same show. Interesting. AAA Reina de Reinas title number 1 contendership match. Special referee was Mr. Iguana. We had Lola Vice defeat La Hiedra. How long are the shows usually, Dolores?
I think like an hour, maybe more than that. They're
Taped?
pre-taped. So they have other shows in between, and they also have some things that come on YouTube. So, but we're covering this because it's the shorter of the shows, and then sometimes they have a lot of promos and different things in between. And I think that that's a little bit, they put a little bit more oomph into this show than they do the other shows. As far as the Mr. Iguana match, Mr. Iguana was a special referee because La Hedra, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's right.
It's his girlfriend, and Lola Vice is the side. And they have been hiding their conversations because La Hedra does not like it. And she don't like the butt checking. She's gotten involved in matches when they've been pretty much dry humping on each other. And recently on some of the YouTube shows that I've been watching, they would like, he would come to her door and bring her coffee, Lola, and soon as La Hedra shows up, he closes the door, leans on the door, and be like, you know, she's like, well, can you come with me somewhere? And he's like, yeah, just give me a minute, just give me a minute. And then he goes back talking to Lola, and then he leaves off to his man. Like, I just want to go back to the days where, you remember back in the day with WWE, where they would catch it in real time by standing next to the little TV in the back, or they would the next week be like, I saw you like talking to such and such. I don't understand the fact that they do this every week where he's like sneaking and talking and being with her. And no fact that like Angela seems not to have a TV and never sees it. I'm like, you know, you have to see this. If this is real life, ain't no woman gonna stuff going on, stuff don't seem right. You feel like, you know, and she's even been like, is something wrong? Like something like, is that a problem? And you feel like something's wrong and you don't even look to see, and it's on weekly TV. Come on, you ain't look back at your match, you ain't scroll through to see, you know, that she and him are talking and they having a flirtatious relationship. None of that. Mind you, I believe she might be coming to the permanently to the main roster because she did good in the Royal Rumble and her boyfriend is in the main roster. They're very super close. So, you know, if you all do not know, her boyfriend is Damian Priest. So that might be, you know, they like to keep, you know, strong couples together. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go to the Royal Rumble. I had to watch along with you all yesterday. Yay. I'm gonna tell you how sad I was. First of all, we started out with the Women's Royal Rumble. We had a surprise in there because we had Brie Bella to enter the Royal Rumble. We had Liv Morgan defeating Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Brie Bella, Candice LeRae, Charlotte Flair, Chelsea Green, Julia, Ivy Nile, Io Sky, JC Jane, Jordan Grace, Kyrie Sane, Kalani Jordan, Kiana James, Lash Legend, Lola Vice, Lara Valkyria, Maxine Dupree, Natty. She's not Natalia anymore. She's Natty. Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, Sol Ruka, Tiffany Stratton, and Zelina Vega. In the worst match of the night, Gunther defeated AJ Styles and retired that man. Well, technically, because we all know he might go to AEW, and then he's supposed to be like traveling from promotion to promotion, and then he'll come back and work backstage for WWE. We had the undisputed WWE title match where Drew McIntyre defeated Sami Zayn for the 12th time in his career. Then we went on to the Men's Royal Rumble, Well, we had Roman Reigns defeating Austin Theory, Brock Lesnar. I don't even want to say the man name. Technically, and I'm gonna keep saying this, Brock Lesnar was able to avert getting in trouble legally by not feeling good in bad weather. Okay, so being drunk, toe up, and it raining and storming outside will prevent you from going to jail. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Dragon Lee, El Grande Americano, which technically on the Titantron it said original El Grande Americano, which was Chad Gable. We had El Grande Americano, the new version. Uh, Gunther, Ilya Dragunov, Jacob Fatu, Javon Evans, Jay Uso, LA Knight, La Parca, Logan Paul, Matt Cardona, Mr. Iguana, Obafemi, who started off at number one, Penta, Randy Orton, Ray Phoenix, Ray Mysterio, the incoming Royce Keys, who I don't know if you saw the Titantron. It had the brick house and it said Powerhouse Hobbs, and then it exploded into Royce Keys. Rusev, Solo Sikoa, The Miz, and Trick Williams, which J News, I was very proud of those people in Saudi Arabia who immediately, as soon as Trick song came out, started singing Whoop That Trick. I was like, yeah, I mean, they didn't even stop J News. He was in the ring wrestling. They were like, Whoop That Trick. Well, I think it was on peak too, J News. You know, I felt a little proud, a little warm on the inside.
So I will say that I feel like I'm a little bit different than what seems to be the general consensus on the pay-per-view. I thought the pay-per-view was okay. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was great. I just thought that it was a run-of-the-mill WWE pay-per-view. It wasn't the best Royal Rumble ever, but I don't think anything was bad outside of the men's Royal Rumble match. The only other criticism I think I had is that the Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn match felt shorter than what it could have been.
I think they were running out of time because if you notice, we clocked it. The men's Royal Rumble, where the women, I had time to write their name down, watch some of the match, then it come on. The men's Royal Rumble literally was like, they came out, they were fighting, somebody came out, somebody came out.
They had that running every 30 seconds in the men's Royal Rumble, it seemed like. But like I said, that my only critique there with the Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn thing was I felt like the match went a bit short. Walter versus AJ Styles, I thought was a great match from a storytelling perspective and things of that nature. I'm not sure as to what AJ Styles is gonna do after his WWE retirement here. I know a lot of people are thinking that he's gonna appear on AEW. Maybe I'm not too sure. I agree with the part of what you said, Dolores, that he's gonna probably do his do a little bit of a swan song on the indies because he started his career on the indies and things of that nature. He just wants to, give say thank you to the fans and things of that nature. I'm not too sure as to how the AEW thing would go over.
Well, they said he was supposed to go to AEW for a second because that's something he wanted to try. He's eventually supposed to go back to New Japan, and from my understanding, TNA is supposed to be his. Well, from my understanding, the reason why he's going to AEW is also to wrestle in ROH.
Sure, that makes it. I mean, it makes sense.
Then New Japan and then TNA. Mm-hmm. I don't know in which direction he's going, but I think he might go the way he came to WWE, back away from WWE.
All right, I mean that's a cool story to tell. Whatever he decides to do, I think it'll be cool because the main thing I wanted to say was that even though I thought that the match had a great storytelling aspects to it and things of that nature, and the action was good and everything else in between, it was very telling that he wasn't necessarily retiring after this particular match, because when he first took his gloves off and then put them back on, he didn't leave his gloves and his boots inside the ring. And that's been a very telling thing with WWE retirements of previous talents, be it The Undertaker, be it Triple H, be it John, most recently John Cena, um, and things of that nature. Guys leaving their boots and their gear in the ring, and he did not do that. So for me and my just from watching WWE for a long period of time and just knowing how professional wrestlers operate in certain instances, it seemed very telling that since he didn't leave his boots and his gloves in the ring, that he was going to continue to wrestle, be it elsewhere on the indies and making his rounds and maybe, ending the year, coming back to TNA and then eventually taking his whatever kind of role he's going to end up having with the WWE. I'm not too sure if it's going to be as a producer or a trainer in the PC. I'm not sure as to what he's going to end up doing, but I know that he himself has said that he wants a backstage role in the WWE after he retires in ring. So we'll see as to where AJ Styles ends up going and how he goes about it. That's going to be an interesting part of 2026. And yeah, man, all good match between him and Walter, and it did what it was supposed to do at the end of the day. The women's Royal Rumble. My younger brother asked me last week, who do you think is winning the women's Royal Rumble? And I gave him two options. I said either a returning Bianca Belair, which did not happen, and or Liv Morgan. And Liv Morgan won. So that was telling there. The men's Royal Rumble was really more or less of a crapshoot for me, just because, like you stated earlier, Dolores, they haven't really had any real focus with the men's division as to who's going to be paired up with whom and who's getting involved with whom, outside of what's been going on recently with Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. The rest of what's been going on hasn't really been long form storytelling, right? They did the short bit with Finn and CM Punk and whatnot, and that was also a glaring omission from the men's Royal Rumble. No Finn Balor. So I was surprised at that, to be quite honest. And
that's what got me. I thought maybe AJ was coming back because once Gunther appeared, I thought maybe Gunther and whoever would get down to the last two, which he was towards the last two, and that AJ would come out and screw him, which means, the typical WWE thing where they come out on Monday Night Raw and be like, I want to face AJ. Well, AJ's retired. Well, let's just have this match. Can you have this match? And then AJ beats him to kind of continue to go on the script and then lose at WrestleMania again. But when he got out to that two, AJ didn't come out. And if you all go back to the watch along, I'm screaming into the camera like, screw this man, come out here. You have to do this. And it's like nothing. I'm like frustrated. I'm mad. And also because Finn could have had that spot. They said there were no more spots available. Gunther walks in. He did not announce. He wasn't prepared to be in the Royal Rumble. He limped out there and lasted as long as he did. You telling me Finn Balor couldn't have did it? You couldn't have sat there and had him and Roman be the last two? And then, so now is Roman now going to face CM Punk?
We don't know.
Then what happens to Finn?
We don't know. We don't know what Roman's going to do. He's going to. I feel like the driving force behind all this, behind the Roman Reigns winning the men's Royal Rumble thing, is that the WWE feels, much like Roman feels, that when he's on TV, he's got the best drawing potential. He's the mainline guy, and his stories work the best and things of that nature. He said it during the Pat McAfee show, where he gave the WWE creative team 2 years to come up with something fresh and something viable for the fans to land on, and they haven't done anything. I feel like Roman, during that particular interview with Pat McAfee, was both talking in character and out of character at the same time. the WWE hasn't created new stars. For those WWE commentators and pundits who feel like, well, they have created new stars. And I was like, in my head, when you say new star, it's guys on the level of a Roman Reigns, on the level of a Seth Rollins, on the level of a CM Punk. Of the newer generation guys, none of those guys are on that level yet, and they haven't been in the last several years. So Roman's got a point there, but that's not necessarily his job to formulate the creative in order to make these new stars. It's the WWE's job, it's WWE Creative's job, it's the booking team's job, right?
It's WWE's job, but you also have to remember the top of the top is his cousin. So it's like WWE, The Rock, because The Rock is pretty much TK on The Rock. They just did, he's gotten it in. So yeah, he feel like he's the man and he can walk around and tell people what to do. But also, I can honestly say, CM Punk as a lady, we have learned to look at him and find some type of attractiveness because he's so loving on his wife. But Roman is the person that women want. We want his shirts. We want to be around him. Oh, he looks so great. And then the men want to be him because he cool and he got that machismo. There's no other WWE star that we feel like that for. Where you get money from both sides and kids, they love him because it's like this strong, powerful, superhero looking person. He gets all the demographics to buy his stuff, to come to see him. When his name is on the marquee, women are running out to see him. Men are either talking about him or want to be him. Kids want to, like he almost like Jesus, you want to touch the hem of his cloth. And I don't think no other superstar has that. They might have one, but they don't have both. Like, I love Jacob Fatu. Great promo. I know men are like, he a badass. Women might like him, but they don't love him enough to run out there and be like, Jacob Fatu, I want you. They don't want to do that. Cody is really good. He brings kids out. He brings men out. But women, we ain't jumping down the pipeline trying to knock ourselves out to go see him. I'm not salivating to see Cody. So that's what I think. They need to build somebody up like that. They have people who are good looking, who are smart, who are athletic, but they don't put them as a complete package. They put them as they can only do this one thing really good. And I think if they could do that with somebody else like Roman, they could make bukus of money.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Dolores, and you bring up good points, but to counter that a bit, the wrestling business isn't any longer in 2026. Is not just built around one guy. You made a point to also help me make my point. There are people who are good at certain things, which is why you have a roster full of talent. So you make sure you embellish that talent's good parts and things of that nature, and you ride the wave. You're not supposed to. It's 2026. People have very short attention spans. Having a champion for 3 or 4 years is no longer a thing that should be done in the wrestling business unless you are at the top of the food chain and your storylines are that good, which is why Roman had the run that he had at the end of the day. But hitching your wagon to one person just doesn't work anymore, which is why you have an inordinate amount of wrestlers being signed to wrestling companies like TNA and WWE and AEW. They're always trying to find the one cash cow, and that philosophy in pro wrestling should have stopped in the freaking 90s at the end of the day. Those particular wrestlers only come in once a generation. So do your best to build your crop and rosters so that people do continue to go out and do continue to spend the money and do continue to buy the merch and things of that nature, so that you can make crumb cake out of crumbs at the end of the day. And it's not like the WWE's out here uh, begging people for money on the streets at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
I understand the point of view, but it's flawed in this day and age. At the end
I'm
of the
glad
day,
they're doing it to the men now. That's see, when Roman came along, I was like, I'm glad to see this because women were the ones that were making. They were not making in their pockets the money that they were producing for WWE. Like you look at the like Chinas and the Sables and the rest of the people who men wanted. And women were like, man, I wish I could be. As a kid, I was like, I want to be like China. I want to be like Sable. Y'all have heard the story of me telling y'all that I wanted to be a girl, or as a kid, I wanted to be the woman who stood on the side of the ring and leaned my titties in and distracted people. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, because I saw Sable do it, and I was like, I want to do it. And so it's this thing where men have never had to really do that. Now men have to be the total package. Like a man can be strong, a man can be fat, and long as he got a good personality, he was like a hit. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin was selling out. Brock Lesnar, prime example. Brock Lesnar sells out everywhere he goes. The man says 2 words, Suplex City. He was selling out. Now I can't speak for every woman, but as a woman, I didn't want that. Okay, I visually didn't want that. But he wasn't a good promo. He was just a suplexing people. Suplexing people. He had a mouthpiece. Oh, the mouthpiece wasn't even making much money as he was. At a certain point, men was not required to have all those things. Then when they saw Roman Reigns come along, it's like, oh my God, women want them. They buy this merch. If you ever seen, I think it was sometime last year, they had a tattoo. Then when they started the tattoo thing at the events, like Royal Rumble and the rest of that, when they started having like those tattoo events, women were getting his tattoo. So and they were like, he the number one merch person. They selling out at the tattoo stand for people putting the OTC and all the rest of that on their body. You see him as a cash cow, and they probably have given him a lot of credit and a lot of cachet to do what he wants to, because he's made a lot of money. Cody has made a lot of money too. Also, I would never get that skull tattoo. That would be a cross. Now I did think about getting that OTC tattoo. Okay, I love him. He's cute, and I love him. But I think that's the first time I've ever seen a man be required to have the total package. And I think they feel that formula worked. We've made millions and billions of dollars. How can we keep doing this? And he is also like, y'all keep calling me back to come back to work. Like John Moxley, y'all keep calling me back. I need to find the next person to take over, so I ain't got to keep coming back like this. The man has a serious health condition. He got what, 5 kids, 2 twins and a child. That he wants to stay at home with his wife sometimes. And he's like, every time y'all get low moments, I gotta come back and save the day. So you know what? How about this? Y'all need to find somebody else who can do what I do. Look good, speak good, come out here and give y'all the best of the best. Y'all need to find somebody who can do that.
yeah, but they also need to position those talents in that way, and they have failed to do that.
Yeah, they have. Even with, I think Javon Evans did good in the Rumble, but if you watch the pre-show, he was horrible. He was horrible.
Can I? Oh, okay. And this isn't. I like his energy. I'm talking about Javon Evans. I like the kid's energy. He's talented in the ring. He is supposed to be, from watching him, he's supposed to be the figurehead for his generation bringing in those wrestling fans, right? He's a 21-year-old young man in America. He's supposed to be the pivot, the figurehead of that demographic, right? So
They do say that in a polite way. Let me tell y'all the ghetto version for those who understand. And somebody pointed out Anika yesterday. He a YN.
Sure, if you want to put it that way, yeah. I guess we'll go with that. I guess we'll go with that for the time being. I was just more or less trying to engage it in the sense of, he's part of the younger generation. He does a lot of online and social media videos and stuff like that. Just a lot of the same things that the younger generation does and things of that nature. So he would appeal to that particular demographic, both, whatever, no matter what ethnicity or color, or creed you are and stuff like that, because of how young he is. But to the point that you made before, his talking skills aren't what they should be for a person who's supposed to be a figurehead for a specific demographic that they're aiming towards, right? That's one thing with Javon Evans. To Bron Breakker, they have him, and I feel like they've missed the opportunity to pull the trigger with Bron Breakker a few times at this point. And to do what they did with him at the Rumble yesterday,
they had no choice, J News. They had no choice.
What do you mean they had no choice?
Okay, because they leaked that he was supposed to be the number one entrance on Friday Night SmackDown. Okay, they leaked it. So then Paul Heyman on the pre-show comes to what's his name? Adam Pearce. He's like, Adam, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to ruin Bron Breakker by putting him and leaking that he was the number one pick. I know you did. And Adam Pearce gets up, walks around CM Punk. He's like, I'll handle this. I will handle this. And he then puts him number 2. Because I was shocked when Oba walks out. I said, okay. But then when Bron, okay, so this is what it is. They're trying to cause confusion amongst the division. So in order to do that, if he was number 1 and you jump him, he's still in the match. Okay? He's still in the match. And you remember, everybody agreed he was going to be the winner out of all of them. So now what you do is you put him number 2. And you put him number 2 for the fact that he now can get jumped. He gets eliminated. And if you listen to commentary, they said, this reminds me of when Austin Theory jumped in and messed up and jumped out just like this in the same hoodie and the same clothes. So all he saw was somebody in the hoodie and clothes, similar build as Austin Theory, jump over the barricade, beat him down, throw him in the ring, get him to cost his match at the Royal Rumble. Okay. So then they come out. Now you have to remember, they have all agreed that Bron Breakker is going to be the winner. He is no longer in the match. Now they're looking at each other like, who are we going to choose? And Paul did not come out with each one of them. He only came back out with Brock Lesnar. So now it's confusion.
Yeah.
Who Paul is going to pick, and B, who is the main person in there? And did Austin Theory do this? Which we don't. We know he didn't.
But, no, he didn't do it. But I would like to say this. It still doesn't justify what they did to Bron Breakker. But if they're building a storyline in where Bron Breakker ends up finding out who the masked man was, and I'll tell you, it wasn't Seth Rollins either. It was his good pal, Logan Paul. If folks like to look at Logan Paul's face enough and his body type enough, that was Logan Paul who stomped Bron Breakker. So yes, there's going to be confusion amongst the members of the division, and there's going to be even more confusion. But according to what fans were saying and theorizing and video clips and highlights that I watched and things of that nature, it seems to be that Logan Paul's been intimating, he's been hinting at somewhat not liking or having a, let's say, a jealous attitude towards Braun Breaker and things of that nature. So I
Yeah,
feel
they
like that
did zoom
makes
in on him when they were picking who were gonna be in when they after they that Adam Pearce told that all of them were gonna be in the Rumble. You know, they had the backstage segment. Well, Paul is on the phone. They are talking. Braun Breaker looks so frustrated, and they were like, I think Austin Theory was like, I think we should let, and then you see them go, each one of them go, yeah, I think Braun Breaker should win. And I think he's either second to last or last. And Logan Paul pauses and then goes, yeah, I think Braun Breaker should win. But everybody else had already chosen.
there was some foretelling there at the end of the day, and that makes for good drama at the end of the day. It's a good storyline for them to have. Within the infighting of the Vision. I'm not too sure if the WWE has any uh, notice or any knowledge of when Seth Rollins is going to be coming back, and or if he's going to be involved in WrestleMania at this point. But I think that the Braun Breaker Logan Paul thing is going to be a storyline going into Mania. I think that's it could be an important piece of storytelling for them to do. From that particular aspect, I think Obafemi did great at the Rumble. They had the OG Americano and New Wave Americano out there, so that'll probably be a storyline going into Elimination Chamber, or they're going to keep it on TV or whatever. Chad Gable looked great physically and stuff like that, so there's that aspect of it. And yeah, like I said, I feel like they missed the boat. No Finn Balor in the at the Rumble. I feel like they should be continuing his storyline with CM Punk and building off of that, but they're going in another direction. So I watched somebody review the Royal Rumble last night, and they made a good point about how the big money match would be Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. And I'm not going to disagree because I don't watch the WWE enough, but to understand, where what their status is and what their stature is in the business overall. Sure, let's have 48, 49-year-old CM Punk go up against 41-year-old freaking the Tribal Chief, right? And CM Punk's matches haven't been great in recent times, but CM Punk to his fans. So we'll see how that all develops. Shout out to ALW in the chat. And yeah, this men's Royal Rumble was just, it wasn't for me. The Rusev spot made me laugh for all intents and purposes. And to hit on the whole Royce Keys, aka Powerhouse Hobbs thing. I like the Videotron that they did for him. I think the music they have for him is cool. There wasn't much of a reaction when he came out, but when he was in the ring and he faced off with Cody for that little bit, there were fans in the crowd who chanted AEW at them. So it seems like there's some exposure of AEW in Saudi Arabia, which I thought surprising. So that was cool, but I wonder what the WWE is going to do with Royce Keys, aka Powerhouse Hobbs, going forward.
They teased him having with the big meaty man. He got in with Gunther and some other people, and I was just like, yes. Oba, he had a face off with Oba. I think the reason why WWE might go with the Roman Reigns CM Punk match is because both of them are movie stars, identifiable to people outside of WWE. Also, CM Punk recently on the Hot Ones said that I think he drew a wrote for DC and Marvel. So they have, and he has a new movie out. So they have extended things where people who don't watch wrestling can identify them and tell who they are, and might buy a ticket just to see them because they're fans of them outside of just the WWE and wrestling universe.
Let's
So
let's loosely use the word movie stars when it comes to the both of them. Um, let's that, and that's just me being honest. That's me also being a big time movie fan. They're not movie stars. They've been in movies. CM Punk's new movie, the
yeah,
one where they're vampire cops and all that jazz. He loves horror, so don't get me wrong. There is
yeah,
a that is a very unique and niche audience and things of that nature. But that particular movie has been panned in the sense of people don't think it's good. And obviously, Roman Reigns has a role in the upcoming Street Fighter movie this summer with
yeah.
Cody and other wrestling talents who are in it. Will you know? And Joe's been in other movies. I mean, Roman's been in other movies as well. So and I know that that's what he wants to do after his wrestling career. We'll see
I
as to
mean, he
what.
has the pathway. Now, the only person I would say that this week that we got news from the WWE that I do not understand will be Ava. I don't know what she's gonna do. I don't know. But she's really good. She's been doing really good on social media, especially if you follow her TikTok. Her and her girlfriend have had some, good countdowns of like music, going to different places, trying different things. So maybe she's getting a lot more recognition, fandom, different things. Just like even like she did a small video, I think it might be on YouTube, about Rock meeting her girlfriend for the first time. And it was just like these types of fun, wholesome videos, things like that, where you're not in the middle of anything and you're not getting the WWE scrutiny. Again, that's another person like what you talked about last week, that people have judged her off her looks, that did give her a fair shot at anything. Uh, Maybe that's an opportunity for her. A lot of these wrestlers are seeing that social media is an opportunity to not only just make money, but just do whatever you feel like. Do what you love. You might want to wake up and record something. You can. And so that's their opportunity. A lot of AEW people are doing it. Now a lot of WWE people are doing it. You see Jade. You see a lot of other people. Oscar and her YouTube channel. You're seeing a lot of people just being more open and free with their content.
Yeah, I found that. I honestly, when the news came down that she when she posted on her Instagram account about not renewing her WWE contract and Tuesday being her last appearance on NXT, I found it very surprising because I feel that she was finally getting she really had her roll down. You know what I'm saying? As the NXT GM, and she had finally grown confidence in it, and she was doing the work that was that was necessary of her role. But I've also always heard, never from her directly, but there have been interviews and things of that nature. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. From her directly, that she really wants to wrestle. And I don't think that her being at NXT was going to give her the opportunity to do so. In the message that she wrote, that she did put up on Instagram, she didn't say she was never going to wrestle again. She really wants to do it. So I'm not too sure what her future is, much like you, Dolores, in the wrestling business. But if she wants to continue to do it, obviously there's plenty of wrestling schools she can go to, other avenues she can take. If she completely leaves the wrestling business, then hey, she's super young at the end of the day. I think she's only like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
Um, and she can do whatever she wants with her life. But I remember watching like a little mini doc that they did with her when she first got to the WWE and she started training, where it was something that she really, really wanted to do. And her dad did state at one point um, how how not easy it is for people to start their careers in the limelight that way. So It could just be her taking a step back from being in the limelight, and wanting to figure out what she wants to do with that, if she wants to do that at all. Um, but we'll see, man. I don't think we've seen the last of her in the wrestling business, to be quite honest. And if she decides to do other stuff, then hey, better for her. She seems like a real nice and down to earth girl at the end of the day. So I got nothing bad to say about Ava.
I
So
want I want the best for her. She wants to wrestle. She wants to wrestle. I if you asking me as a fan, am I slightly concerned if that's what she chooses to do? Yeah, because it seems like every time she's had opportunities to get in the wrestling ring, she's gotten hurt. Like Brandy. Brandy is actually accident prone. So it's like how you're 22 and maybe you can bounce back, or it take you a couple of months to heal from a break or snap or cut or whatever. But as you have to think about your long term future. I wish, even as regular people, I tell people all the time, think about what you're doing now. It will. Listen, I used to be out here. It used to be below 20 in Georgia, and I would have tank top and some shorts on. You ask my anemic butt that now, I will tell you that the devil is a lie. Okay. When you get older, your body, from the things you've done in your younger years, it tells on you when you get older. So I think maybe working with her dad, working on his production team, doing something like that. Yes, maybe that may be something she don't necessarily want, but might be better for her in the future. Because I know she's even talked about online her having a lot of injuries and things happening, and she's just not feeling like this is something she wants, but something that might not necessarily be in, like she needed to take a break from for a second. And I thought being the manager was that break. But if she wants to do it, go ahead. Just be more cautious and be more prepared, because nobody's gonna give you a free pass, and maybe there might be on the indies people who are out to hurt you just because of who you are.
yeah, but it seems like she has, at least from everything that I've seen and read about her, she seems to have a real good head on her shoulders, and she has a good work ethic at the end of the day. So like I said, if she wants to continue to do the wrestling thing, I feel like we haven't. It's not the last thing she's gonna do, in regards to being part of the wrestling landscape and things of that nature. But if it is, then good luck to her with everything that she's gonna do, and going forward from there. But yeah,
Yeah. And I like her social media. I like her girlfriend. Her girlfriend's cute. I was like, okay, got it. And also she likes rock music, and not too many people that look like me like rock music like I do. Ladies and gentlemen, me and J News, we're going to the back because you know what time it is. J News' favorite, second favorite. I'm gonna put New Japan first. There might be his second favorite, or they might be tied. Favorite time of the show is AEW, ladies and gentlemen. All Elite Wrestling, and we're gonna start off with Dynamite, episode 330 on the 28th on TBS HBO Max. We had Kenny Omega defeating Rocky Romero, AEW Continental Title Eliminator match where John Moxley defeated Ace Austin. We had an AEW TNT title match where Mark Briscoe defeated El Colon. Colon. Stop it. AEW Women's World Title match: Chris Statlander defeated Thekla. AEW World Tag Team Title match: FTR defeated uh, Davis and Doyle, Jack Doyle and Mark Davis. And then we had Andrade El Idolo defeating Swerve Strickland. J News, did you see this and what did you think about it?
yeah. I saw Wednesday's episode of Collision. Uh, uh, Good starting match between, good starting match between Kenny Omega and Rocky Romero. Had a good, cool comedic bits from Rocky and Kenny in their physical interactions and stuff like that. As Kenny Omega continues his war on the Don Callis family. The eliminator match between John Moxley and Ace Austin was solid as well. This was Ace Austin's debut on Dynamite. Sorry, on Dynamite, and he had a good showing against John Moxley there. John Moxley was attacked by Davis and Doyle from the DCF post match. So it seems like there's going to be some gang warfare between the Don Callis family and the Death Riders going forward. And the TNT title match had Mark Briscoe versus El Clone. Great match. El Clone is such a unique in ring, such a unique in ring style, and he's such a unique character. Great match between him and Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe then ended up defeating El Clone to retain his championship, to then throw out a TNT title open challenge. The open challenge was responded to by a debuting Tommaso Ciampa on AEW. Tommaso Ciampa is now All Elite. He came in with new theme music, Neutron graphics, and things of that nature. The presentation was awesome. So I got to give the AEW production team credit on that one. Shout out to Mikey Ruckus for the track and stuff like that. Tommaso Ciampa looked and felt like a star, and we'll get into what happened on Collision. Tommaso Ciampa challenged Mark Briscoe for the AEW TNT Championship on Saturday's episode of Collision, and we'll get that. And we'll get there when we get there. Chris Statlander defeated Tekla. I know a lot of folks online and on the socials really like this match between Chris Statlander and Tekla. I seem to be in the minority here. I wasn't too big of a fan of this match, and the reason as to why I wasn't too big of a fan of this match was because I feel like they really slowed Tekla's wrestling style down, and to me the match was a bit more clunkier than usual than what I'm used to experiencing with Chris Statlander in it. Are they they're probably gonna run this back, and they should, because I feel like the two ladies can have a better match in the ring. I just hope that they continue to improve their story and also build on Chris Statlander's character and have a better in-ring match between Tekla and Chris Statlander. I don't think this is going to be the last time they go face-to-face, head-to-head. The AEW World Tag Team title match between FTR and Davis and Doyle ended in a bad way. FTR retaining here. Right call. Unfortunately, during the match, Jake Doyle, aka Jake Something, got hurt. He tore his bicep during a specific spot in the match on the apron. That sucks, man, as Jake just got to AEW. He hasn't been on AEW TV for a month as of yet. And for him to have to suffer this injury is untimely, and it's unfortunate, man. Hopefully he recovers and gets a comeback soon. But that was the down part of the match. FTR retaining their championships. Now have to look for other challengers in the coming weeks and months. And the AEW tag team division is chock full of different challengers. And I will mention that when we get to the Collision review. And Andrade El Idolo versus Swerve Strickland was a hell of a main event. Andrade defeating Swerve with a low blow and then putting him into his finisher was apropos. But at the end of the day, the match itself was awesome. Great decision by Tony Khan to have Andrade win here. Gives us something a little bit different in the main event AEW championship scene. I know a lot of folks have been complaining about how the same people have been surrounding the AEW championship and let alone the WWE championship scenes and stuff like that. So to have new and fresher faces in those divisions and in those particular scenes is a good thing. So shout out to Andrade El Idolo, aka 2026 versions of Latin Lover at the end of the day. So that was Collision for me.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go. Jenny's going to come back with me. We're going to go over to ROH. ROH was episode 152 on the 29th. You can find it on ROHWrestling.com or the ROH app. We had the ROH Women's World Title Proving Ground match where Athena defeated Vixen. Adam Priest defeated Anthony Henry. Tommy Billington defeated Aaron Solo. Shuri Shibata defeated JD Drake. Hanan and Maya World defeated Lady Bird, Monroe, and Viva Van. And we had Mascara Dorada defeat Tony Nese. Jay News, did you see this, and what did you think about it?
So this episode of ROH was really more or less structured around Athena and her developing this feud between her and her MITs, be it Billy Starks and Diamante, and her outside of ROH minions, Hyann and Maya World. After Athena defeated Vert Vixen, we had Billy Starks and Diamante come into the ring and continue to beat down Vert Vixen. Then we had Maya World and Hyann run down to the ring for the save there, and we ended up having a challenge put forth by Athena, where Athena is going to tag with her MIT minions of Billy Starks and Diamante, and for Hyann and Maya World to find a third partner, a third porcelain hussy, for them to team with, so they can have a 6-person, a 6 women's tag team tag team match. And Hyann and Maya World definitely found themselves a third partner. I would have thought that it would have been Vert Vixen, being that they've teamed before, but they're not doing that. Hyann and Maya World are going to be teaming with none other than ROH Women's Pure champion Deonna Purrazzo in future ROH shows. So we'll see as to how that goes. The singles matches here, good showing for Adam Priest and Tommy Billington, and Shibata, as well as Shibata took some time out during this match to do a little bit of a bit with the guy who was dressed as Jesus in the front row of their of the show. So funny bits there with Shibata as he defeated JD Drake, and good showing for Lady Bird Monroe and Viva Van against Hyann and Maya World. I think we're as a matter of fact, we did see Lady Bird Monroe again on Collision, and Viva Van's been signed to AEW for over a year now, but there hasn't been much use of her on ROH or AEW TV in recent weeks and months. So hopefully they start to use her a bit more again. And then Mascara Dorada versus Tony Nese was a man. It was if we're still using the term, it was a spot fest. But Mascara Dorada defeated Tony Nese in that particular match. So solid episode of ROH on Honor Club this week. On over to Collision, which happened yesterday. Sorry, folks. Saturday, Collision aired at 8 p.m., which I was able to watch after the Royal Rumble was over. So that was cool. Darby Allin took on Clark Connors. I said this to one of my close friends yesterday as I was texting him when the show was happening. The first hour and 20 to hour and 25 minutes of Collision yesterday were non-stop. I was just like I was blown away because I felt like the mission for the talent in these matches for the first hour 25 minutes of Collision, and I'm being specific about that time frame, was to outshine or outdo what was going on with what happened at the Royal Rumble earlier in the day. And I feel like they did that from an in-ring perspective. And they did some story telling bits and pieces through backstage promos and stuff like that, which I'll mention here. Darby Allin versus Clark Connors was a great spotlight match for Clark Connors versus Darby Allin. For a guy Clark Connors' size, the strength, speed, velocity in which and intensity in which he wrestles with, especially in this match versus Darby Allin, was crazy. It was a very high impact match. Darby Allin ended up defeating Clark Connors even after all the freaking violence in this match, but not to be dissuaded, not to be put into a category that he should not be put into. We had the return of none other than Gabe Kidd come out and do a beatdown spot with him and Clark Connors being stablemates and stuff like that on Darby Allin. Gabe Kidd cut a promo. He's not done with Darby Allin, so it seems like Darby Allin, even though Darby Allin wants to go after the AEW championship, he's going to be doing his side quests amongst the likes of Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. And Gabe Kidd was specific to say that he's not doing this on the behest or the behalf of the Death Riders, that he's doing this on his own terms. So we'll see as to what that means, and we'll get. It seems like we're going to get more of Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd on AEW TV going into the future. We then had the debut of the Rascals of Desmond and Xavier and Zachary Wentz. They were flanked by their homie Myron Reed, and then we had members of Crew of Action Andretti and Leo Rush. They were flanked by Lacey Lane. As I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna say this out loud. Lacey Lane, hot damn! I didn't know you had that kind of game. So that's all I got to say about that. But at the end of the day, the match versus the Rascals and Crew was good. It was solid. I understand the criticisms from folks online. There were a couple of spots here and there from Dez and Zach that were a bit softer than what we're used to on AEW TV. But I just feel, for me, understanding some the physical dynamics of pro wrestling and stuff and things of that nature, I feel like Dez and Zach were being safe and not necessarily trying to be too wild and too hard hitting in a match where it's their first match, especially on AEW TV. I think they still came off well. I think Crew came off well as well. I think this was probably the best showing that I've seen from Andretti and Leo Rush. Leo Rush is still the freaking man. I can care less what anybody says. A lot of people can't hang with Leo Rush in that ring. And for them to come off the way that they did, they spotlighted both tag teams. Both of them got their shit in. Everything looked good. Everything looked crisp, but outside of some of the spots where Dez and Zach were being a bit safer than usual. And it was a good debut for the Rascals. And we then got Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm in a comedy kind of a spot for the show. They did a mixed tag match versus Gino Medina, who seems to be a popular Texas indie wrestler. And here again, we see Lady Bird Monroe on an AEW show here. Lady Bird Monroe seems to have a gymnastics background. She moves very well, and she's very agile and things of that nature. She did the comedy bit with Orange Cassidy in the ring, where Orange Cassidy laid in his kicks, and Lady Bird was reacting to them. She did great in her bit there. Tony Storm being Tony Storm, as Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm, they won their match. Post match, Marina Shafir and Wheeler Yuta showed up to interrupt the proceedings. After they had their back and forth on the mic, it ended up being that Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy will be having a tag match at Grand Slam Australia versus Marina and Wheeler, where it's going to be a hair versus hair match. So look forward to that at Grand Slam Australia. We then had the AEW TNT title match versus Tommaso Ciampa and Mark Briscoe. A lot of the time, folks don't care about what the crowd has to chant during a wrestling show, but when crowds chant "Fight Forever," that's usually a very good thing. Tommaso Ciampa came in like a freaking house on fire, man. He let Mark Briscoe get a lot of his shit in to start this match, and then Tommaso Ciampa, the ring general that he is, took over, did his thing. Him and Mark Briscoe had a fantastic match. A shock title change here. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Mark Briscoe. Tommaso Ciampa now the AEW TNT champion. He had a backstage promo segment with Lexi Nair. They showed off Tommaso's daughter and his wife. As he's as people know, he's a very proud family man. And now he has his new Goldie in hand. And the Psycho Killer is going to do his due diligence on AEW TV. We'll see as to what happens in the future. After Tommaso Ciampa won his match, Kyle Fletcher was on stage doing his golf clap. So it seems as we'll have a coming feud between Tommaso Ciampa and Kyle Fletcher, which I think is a great thing because we did not need to retread another Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher a match and or feud. Kazuchika Okada, the international champion, had a one-on-one match versus Adam Priest. Adam Priest had a good showing here versus Kazuchika Okada. Kazuchika Okada came out and the international championship itself was covered in a cover, was like in a belt bag. But Okada also came out without his usual entrance robe. I feel like Kazuchika Okada might
I
have
was sad.
Kazuchika Okada might have lost his gear bag where his robe and his title were before the show began, and I think that was the reason as to why the title was in that bag, and he did not show up with his regular entrance jacket.
I think I understand keeping the belt, you keeping the belt or whatever like that, but they should have a second version and keep a second like outfit that's permanently with the AEW trucks that travel, because this happens a lot, and it's like, come on now, y'all should have a backup plan for this.
I agree with you, Delores. I cannot say anything outside of that. I agree. Some of these guys need to have some backup gear with the production team and the production trucks, and keep it in cases. I know the WWE does that quite a bit. So yeah, they definitely need to do that, man, because that just it looked a little bit bush league yesterday. So.
Yeah, I was like, what? Is this he tried to keep it normal with the
they did. They tried.
He tried to keep it normal. I was like, oh no, you can't do this. This don't ever do this again, sir. So ship it or something or do something, but you can't keep doing this.
Have some backups, guys. Have some backups. It happened a couple of weeks ago as well, where Speedball Mike Bailey, I think, had to borrow Jets tights and stuff like that because his stuff got held up.
That's what I'm like, this has happened more than once. I need y'all, even back in the day when they first started, I can understand that. But by now, y'all should have, because I know some of y'all have 2 and 3 gears. Just have that one outfit that you just leave with production. And y'all should have replica belts, because, and also don't give them, because I learned about the belt making through Rebby Hardy, because she has where she keeps Matt's belts that he's won. She's like, WWE and other companies don't let you keep the belt. So you have to redo them. And she's like, normally I try to keep up with them, but before I met him, he won certain titles that I have to get made. And she shows the difference of ones that are made from people who are exactly like what they're supposed to be, compared to, like, she got one recently that she's like, you can tell detail wise. From the outside, it looks great, but detail-wise, you can look at it and tell that it was poorly made and not made up to standard to like a real belt would be made. Yes. So I think, like, you can give somebody walk through the airports and stuff the poorly made belt that looks like the real one, but it's not. And keep the real one at production, because y'all keep losing and doing. And also, I'm also tired of people getting the belt and doing the, like, typical, like, naked photos, hunching the belt, all the rest of that. Like, I don't want to think about this belt that, like, some older person has won that you are now butt naked taking pictures in. That's not cool with me.
That's just extra at the end of the day. Wanted to mention that during the show, just to wrap it up, during the show, we had a backstage segment that after the Rascals won their debut match, they did a backstage segment with Lexi Nair as she got with them after their win. They are going to be a part of a parking lot brawl that was set a challenge of earlier in the show. GYV, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston were backstage along with Lexi Nair. They agreed to no violence, but it didn't end that way. GYV didn't put their hands on Eddie Kingston and Ortiz, but we got Big Bill and Brian Keith put hands on Eddie Kingston and Ortiz. They got laid out earlier in the show. So then go forward, the Rascals had their backstage interview after their debut match. They lovingly call Eddie Kingston Uncle Eddie. Eddie Kingston and Ortiz had to find partners in order to get into this multi-man parking lot brawl. It's going to be the Rascals and Eddie Kingston and Ortiz in that parking lot brawl versus GYV and Big Bill and Brian Keith in that parking lot brawl, and I believe it's going to be next Saturday on Collision. So look out for that. AEW has had parking lot brawls before, and they have always hit. And Ortiz, I believe, has been a part of every single one. So look out for that, folks. Next Saturday on Collision. Then we had the at the end of the show, we had the women's AEW tag team title match between the Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale, go up against the Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I think this was probably the best I've seen the Sisters of Sin gel together as a tag team during a tag team match. And the Babes of Wrath looked a little off here and there in certain spots and stuff like that, but the girls were able to round it up and get it together, and retain their championships of the Babes of Wrath. That is. And post match, they were attacked by by Tekla and also Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. So it seems to be that the Sisters of Sin and or the Triangle of Madness have now teamed up with Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. So that's 5 ladies on their side. The Babes of Wrath had Chris Statlander come out for the save, but they got themselves beat down there, the 3 ladies and stuff like that, with nobody else to come out for the save. So it seems that Harley Cameron, Willow Nightingale, and Chris Statlander are going to have to find themselves 2 more partners. So we're probably going to see some sort of a 5-on-5 happen in the future. And I have a feeling as to who the other 2 partners are going to be, because this is going to be the last thing that I wanted to mention about Collision. There was another video vignette that was put on Collision. The first one was put on Dynamite, where we had Alex Windsor talking to Jamie Hayter directly about becoming a tag team, where Alex did the majority of the talking. And then the vignette that we got on Collision was Jamie Hayter doing the majority of the talking towards Alex Windsor, as they are now trying to find this tag team dynamic between each other. 2 hard-hitting ladies from the British Indies coming together as a tag team and gonna have some fun. So I feel, mentioning that they're gonna be the 2 ladies who will end up joining Willow, Harley, and Chris Statlander to take on the Sisters of Sin and Tekla and Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford going into the future. But another solid episode of Collision, nonetheless, for AEW.
Yes, J News is coming to the back, and we're gonna hit the gas pedal for TNA Thursday Night Impact, episode 1124 on the 29th on AMC. Nick Nemeth defeated BDE. In a non-title match, we had Channing Lorenzo defeat the hometown man. Elijah defeated Jason Hart. Alana Black defeated Ruthie J. In a holds bar match, Rich Swann defeated. I want to say it again. Defeated. One more time. Defeated AJ Francis. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Because A, I was just interested in this story, and then B, I hope this is the very, very end. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go into Progress. Progress had a show on the 25th. It was called In the Darkest Night. Listen, it's been dark out here, ladies and gentlemen. We had multi matches, which I would say I like this show. I really do. Progress always gives me good shows. Progress HOG, I can count on them. Progress chapter 189. We started off with the Strong Style 16 men's tournament first round match. We had Jay Joshua defeat Kid Lycos II. In the women's first round match, we had Scott Smithson defeating Anita Vaughn. In the first round match of the women's, we had LA Taylor defeating Session Moth Martinez. We had Progress Atlas titles match where Saxon Huntley defeated Axel Tischer. In the Progress World title match in DQ with Man Like DeReese and Cardinal Rod. Listen, shenanigans. Progress tag team title match. Diamond Eyes, which is Connor Mills and Nico Angelo, defeated Gene Money and Kuga. Excuse me. Bad. Then we had Big Damo defeating Spike Trivet. And then for the last match of the night, it was a title change. Alexis Falcon defeated Rain Leverkusen. Listen, J News ought to be proud of me. MLW, we had Battle Riot, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? It was on YouTube, and Battle Riot was short. We had the MLW middleweight title match where it was a title change. Kushida defeated Templario, okay, for the title. We had the MLW heavyweight title 40-man Battle Riot match where Killer Cross won by defeating Kruger, unknown opponent, we don't even know. Adam Brooks, Alan Angels, Alex Hammerstone, Anthony Green, Ariel Dominguez. I think I pronounced it right. Austin Aries. Sorry, Thunder. I'm not even going to say the first time. Because every time I say it, I laugh. Ben Bishop Dreyer, Cha Cha Charlie, Cody Fluffman, Diego Hill, Doc Gallows, Don Gato, Donovan Dijak, Festus, Ikuro Kwan, Jesus Rock. Listen, I need y'all stop with this. Rodriguez, Joe Coffey, he was in the match. Josh Bishop, Carl Anderson, Kushida, LJ Cleary, Madman Fulton, Mark Coffey, Matthew Justice, Mr. Thomas, Onyx the One, Paul London, Paul Waterhausen, Ricky Martinez, Sidney Akeem, Simon Gotch, Stallion Rogers, Trevor Lee, and Wolfgang. So, pretty long. They had a lot of promos to promote some up stuff and stuff. Okay, on to my favorite time of the show. JCW, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Game Changer Wrestling, and it's time to get crushed up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Crushed Up took place on yesterday. After I left the WWE, I went over to GCW. Teriyaki defeated one Commanders, Jack Cartwheel, KJ Orso, Man Like the Reese, and Ryan O'Neal. We had Tasha Steele defeating Janai Kai. Don Freeze defeating Ruckus. For the PWU Legacy title match, listen, they let Joey Janela win a title because he defeated Rick Blade. Grigo Loco, Samurai del Sol, and Vendador. That's how you pronounce it. I'm learning from J News every day. Defeating Ray Orez and the special envoy of Frightmare and Hollow Wicked. We had Crew defeating Beastman, Charles Mason defeating Effie, Bear Dozer, which is Bear Bronson and Matt Tremont, along with Slade, defeated VNDL48, which is Atticus the Otis Cougar and Christian Napier. Ladies and gentlemen, on to J News' favorite time of the show. It is New Japan Pro Wrestling, the road to new beginnings.
The Road to New Beginning show happened on the 28th of January. We had some special one-on-ones here. We had Koji Fujita defeat Masatori Yasuda in a special one-on-one match there. 6-man tag team action. House of Torture, Dick Togo, Ren Narita, Yujiro Takahashi. They defeated the Unbound Co. of Gato, Oscar, and Yuto Ice. Shota Umino and Yu Uemura defeated the United Empire's Callum Newman and Zane J. 10-man tag team elimination match. We had Unbound Co.'s Daiki Nagai, Hiromu Takahashi, Robbie X, Taiji Ishimori, and Yota Tsuji. They defeated the United Empire's Francisco Akira, Great O'Con, Hanare, Jake Lee, and Jacob Austin Young. TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Bishimon's Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, and Tatsuya Matsumoto. And then we had Aaron Wolf, Reisuke Taguchi, Tiger Mask, and Tomoaki Honma, along with Toriano, defeat Katsura Murashima, Master Wato, Oleg Bolte, Shomakato, and Yo. On to the 29th, we had Master Wato and Yo defeat Shomakato and Tiger Mask. United Empire's Great O'Con and Hanare defeated Katsura Murashima and Masatori Yasuda. We then had TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Koji Fujita, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeat Bishimon's Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, along with Oleg Bolton and Tatsuya Matsumoto. We then had Aaron Rolf, Taguchi, Yano defeat House of Torture's Dick Togo, Ren Narita, Yujiro Takahashi. Shota Umino, Tomoaki Honma, and Yu Uemura defeated Unbound Co.'s Gato, Oscar, and Yuto Ice. And to end the night, we had Unbound Ko's Daiki Nagai, Hiromu Takahashi, Robbie X, Taiji Ishimori, Yota Tsuji defeat the United Empires, Callum Newman, Francisco Akira, Jake Lee, Jacob Austin Young, and Zane J.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for what? Preview. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start out with GCW. You know I'm excited because it's Orange Crush presents Superpower Slam. Ladies and gentlemen, GCW is hosting this show with them. It will be on YouTube. GCW will be on YouTube on today. So after I leave you all, guess where I'm going? GCW. On the kickoff show, we have the Orange Crush presents Superpower Slam kickoff with Jordan Blade versus Janai Kai versus Gabby versus Nikki XS. We have on the main show. We have Charles Mason, Darian Bingston, Griffin McCoy, KJ Orso, Manny Lowe, Buster in the Brain, which is Alex Price and Jordan Oliver, Man Like DeReese, Ryan Clancy, and Teriyaki fighting amongst each other. We have Janela Joey Janela and Megan Bain versus Jet Speed of Kevin Knight and Mike Bentley. I can't wait for that match. We have Adam Priest and Mance Warner versus Cowboy Wade, which is One Kyle Manders and Thomas Shear. We have Jonathan Gresham. I can't wait for Jonathan Gresham versus Lee Moriarty. We have Willow Nightingale versus Mara Sade. We have for the JCW title match, the champion Billy Starks will be facing off against Effie. And for the GCW world title match, Atticus Cougar will be facing Bear Bronson.
So, quick question here. It seems that either some fences have been mended or the relationship between AEW and GCW has improved, because there's a lot more AEW talent on this GCW show than I've seen in quite some time.
Well, they've been doing it. I think they just had beef and just really didn't. Because if you don't remember, a lot of talent came from GCW.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of their contracts, I know one or two of them, I can't remember who, contracts weren't quite up, but were let out early so they could sign with AEW. And they knew they were going to AEW. So they kind of feel like we've helped you. You definitely can help us. Buster in the Brain have always been there. Most of these people are always there. Actually, JCW and GCW works very hand in hand. So
yeah, that much I know.
AEW,
but for me, it's surprising to see Willow and Lee and Jet Speed on this. So that's why I brought it up, because I hadn't seen Jet Speed ever. It's been a while since Willow's been there, and I've never seen Lee Moriarty be a part of GCW. I've seen him be a part of the Five, but that's why I mentioned it.
Yeah, I think he's been on one other show, but again, when they team with JCW to come together, they kind of all mix together. All right, Tag, thank you for coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to New Japan. That is Jay News' favorite sport. Road to the New Beginning continues.
Right, we had a show this morning. We had the Young Lion Cup final match. It's going to be Shoma Kato versus Katsuya Murashima. Shota Umino, Tiger Mask, and Yu Uemura are going to go up against Unbound Ko's Gato, Oscar, and Yuto Ice. Bishiman, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi, along with Oleg Bolton and Ryusuke Taguchi, are going to go up against TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. United Empire's Great Khan, Hanari, and Zane J will go up against the Unbound Ko's Daiki Nagai, Drilla Maloney, and Robbie X. Aaron Wolf, Master Wato, Toru Yano, and Yo will go up against House of Torture's Dick Togo, Doki, Ren Narita, and Yujiro Takahashi. United Empire's Callum Newman and Jacob Austin Young will go up against Unbound Ko's David Finlay and Hiromu Takahashi. And then we'll have the United Empire's Francisco Akira and Jake Lee go up against the Unbound Ko's Taiji Ishimori and Yota Tsuji. Tomorrow, we're going to have another Road to New Beginning show. Masatori Yasuda, Shota Umino, and Yu Uemura will go up against the Unbound Ko's Daiki Nagai, Oscar, and Yuto Ice. Aaron Wolf, Master Wato, Toru Yano, and Yo will go up against House of Torture's Dick Togo, Doki, Ren Narita, Yoshinobu Kanemaru. United Empire's Callum Newman, Francisco Akira, and Jacob Austin Young will go up against Unbound Ko's David Finley, Gato, and Hiromu Takahashi. United Empire's Great Khan, Hanare, Jake Lee, and Zane J will go up against Unbound Co's Drilla Maloney, Robbie X, Taiji Ishimori, and Yoda Tsuji. Harley Jackson's going to have a special one-on-one match against Oleg Boltin. Zack Sabre Jr. is going to go one-on-one against Yoshihashi. And then to end the show's main event, it's going to be Hiroki Goto versus Ryohei Oiwa. And then we're going to have the show on the 4th. Shomakato is going to go one-on-one against Masatori Yasuda. Katsura Murashima and Tiger Mask are going to take on Tatsuya Matsumoto and Tamaki Hanma. Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi, along with Oleg Boltin and Ryusuke Taguchi, are going to go up against TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. Aaron Wolf, Master Wato, Toru Yano, and Yo will go up against House of Torture's Dick Togo, Doki, Ren Narita, and Yujiro Takahashi. El Desperado, Shota Umino, and Yu Uemura will go up against Unbound Co's Daiki Nagaya, Oscar, and Yuto Ice. United Empire's Callum Newman, Great Khan, Hanare, and Jacob Austin Young will go up against Unbound Co's David Finley, Drilla Maloney, Gato, and Robbie X. United Empire's Francesco Akira, Jake Lee, and Zane J will go up against Unbound Co's Hiromu Takahashi, Taiji Ishimori, and Yoda Tsuji.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're going to Wrestling Revolver. They have Revolver Cross Hour. Yeah. And it was about 2:00 in the morning, so excuse me that I ain't like that name up. Okay. It was on the 5th, and it'll have Killer Cross versus Barry Bronson. And for the Revolver Remix title, Danger Ladders and Chairs match, Chris Danger will face BDE. On to my favorite time of the year is GCW. Ladies and gentlemen, we got day 1 of the GCW JCW Jersey J Cup 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, it'll be matches as follows. We have the first round 6-way match. It'll be Travis Williams versus Griffin McCoy, Joe Lando, Vendador, Manny Lowe, and an unknown opponent. We have the first round matches as follows. Jonathan Grisham versus Adam Priest. Eric Stevens versus Charles Mason. Jordan Oliver versus his partner, Alex Price. Oro versus Man Like DeReese. Judas Icarus versus Darian Benston. We have KJ Orso versus Teriyaki. And for the JCW title, Jersey J Cup first round match, we'll have Billy Starks versus Ryan Clancy. We'll have Tiger Mans versus the Dynamite Kid. We'll have for a steel cage match, one Kyle Manders versus Mad Dog Connolly. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be a MLW show called Lucha Apocalypto 2026. It'll be on the 7th, and it'll be on YouTube. As of right now, there are no matches listed. Back to GCW for day number 2 of the Jersey J Cup 2026. This day we'll have Joey Janela versus Mad Dog Connolly. I don't know why I put New Japan on there. That was just the end of it. Okay, so New Japan day 8, which you all see down at the bottom. New Japan day 8, we have Murashima versus Yasuda, El Desperado, and Taguchi versus Shoma Kato and Tiger Mask, Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi, along with Ole Bolton and Tetsuya Matsumoto. See, listen, Jay News is here for a reason. Versus TMDK, Harley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. Aaron Wolf, Master Wado, Toriano, Yo, it will face the House of Torture, Dick Togo, Doki, Ren Narita, and Yujiro Takahashi. We have Shota Umino, Homna, Yuya Uemura, and versus the Unbound Co of Daiki Nagai, Oscar, and Yuto Ice. We have United Empire, Callum Newman, Francesco Akira, Hanare, Jacob Austin Young versus the Unbound Co of David Finley, Gato, Hiromu Takahashi, and Taiji Ishimori. We have the United Empire of Great Khan, Jake Lee and Zane J versus the Unbound Co of Daiki Nagai, Drilla Maloney, and Yoda Tsuji. Now this is the end, ladies and gentlemen. And I said to myself, well, you don't have no spotlight. But then I remembered mid-show today that today is the first day of December. So my spotlight, I'm not December. See, I'm all the way back in December. First day of February. And so I will be doing spotlight this month of the people who are my spotlight on my post section because I have something come out every day. And today being the first, it is Clavette Colvin. And Clavette Colvin is a wonderful, wonderful woman who was an American pioneer of the 1950s civil rights movement and a nurse aide. On March 2nd of 1955, she's arrested at the age of 15 in Montgomery, Alabama, for refusing to give her seat up to a Caucasian woman on a crowded crowded segregated bus. It occurred 9 months before Rosa Parks had her incident, and she does not get the credit that she truly deserves. I tried this year to do majority, 99% of the people that you do not know or do not know about, because I wanted, there are many black history figures, and not everybody gets the credit that they deserve. Okay. And that is a shame because people have been through experiences, have sacrificed stuff for us, and we don't celebrate them because we don't know about them. And then also, we've only been taught about a handful of people. So today's spotlight will be Clavette Colvin all of February. So next week to from tomorrow up until the day we come in, that will be the spotlight next week, and then the week after that, week after that, week after that. Because I want to make sure these people get their spotlight they're due, and they help us get to the place we can and have the things that we have as a people. All right, Jay News, you got anything to say about that?
No, but I'm learning as you're speaking. So that was I believe this is the first time I've read the name of Claudette Colvin. So that's
Yeah.
interesting information to know.
Yeah, so in the coming weeks, we'll have 4 or 5 people because it'll be 4 or 5 days in between. I've done on my post at 12 o'clock every day. There will be someone that comes out and information along with them to let you know who they are, so you can find out a little bit more about them yourselves. Okay, I like doing it because I get to learn a little bit more, and some people I've heard of but don't know a lot about, so I get to share that information with you all. So, J News, it's your time. It's time for you to get your spotlight, J News. Tell the good people about yourself.
Well, folks, as usual, thank you for tuning in here to the Hit the Ropes podcast this week. That is my QR code there that gives you the links to my socials, be it my Twitter, be it my Instagram, and my um, Letterbox account. Letterbox is used basically as a social media platform for movie lovers and stuff like that, but you can also write reviews for the movies that you have watched there as well. So if it's something that you're interested in doing and just keeping track of the movies or shows that you like to watch, you can use Letterbox as that. But I use it to write reviews, either in short form or long form. So check out my profile on Letterboxd as well. When you get to my profile, which is linked on my QR code, it puts you onto my landing page. If you want to see or read my reviews, just click on the diary tab, and it gives you the list of all the movies that I have watched in recent times. January has been or was a very busy month at the movie theaters for me. I have a couple of reviews for movies in January. February, I'll be back on board writing my full reviews for the movies that I start watching in February. So stay tuned for that. Also, I should be back on True Heel Heat within the next 2 weeks to do some previews and reviews for the upcoming New Beginning show for New Japan. And then, as always, catch me here every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Hit Rose podcast with the lovely Delores. And yeah, that is it for me. And I will check you guys out next week.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, I personally am no longer doing right now. I'm pausing all tech and stuff. We're just doing a little sports. I'm in the process of right now doing the thumbnail. I'm finishing it because you know your girl's a perfectionist. We will be doing the Super Bowl here on the channel again. Another year, another Super Bowl. If you all do not know, you know I love sports. Now I would say go backwards, but they didn't make it. Okay, but we will be fine. Okay, we'll make it. So, ladies and gentlemen, and with that being said, there is no Dolores Designs. Please don't email me or call me. I ain't trying to hear that. But I will shout out some people. It will be shout out to 10. 10 The Educated Natural. Go to the educatednatural.com/women if you want to join the women's closet. But also check out theeducatednatural.com for business information and other things. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Joy, she comes on Monday and Thursday. She has 2 separate channels now. Her prayer is on the Miss Joy Pray channel, and then on the Miss Joy's channel, mz.joys1 is where her crafting will be. Okay. Also, please check out the Workhouse Wrestling Network. Shout out to Nika for coming on yesterday, and go on over there and gallop on over there to the Workhorse Wrestling Network. Thank you to everybody who also Miss Shirley the OG Gardener every Thursday live at 7 p.m. Eastern. She'll teach you about life and gardening and so much more. Please go check her out. And happy 4-year anniversary for her channel to Miss Shirley the OG Gardener. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for everybody who showed up and showed out for the Royal Rumble. I think on one of the videos got 100 and some odd views. I'm so appreciative of you for every like, for every subscribe, for everything. Please, please, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna cut it short today. I'm gonna say thank you. The house is on fire. We're about to put it out. But until then, I'm gonna cut the lights out. And I'm gonna tell y'all, see y'all next week. Peace.